What is up, guys? So today I'm going to be working on my final Python project. Well, I've already kind of started on it. I don't really know what I'm doing exactly. I know the gist of the project and I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just don't really understand how to get it done. So here on the left side of my screen is the, what's it called? The project information. So basically it says we're going to be given just a bunch of CSV files. Like we get the attendance reports, we get participation reports, and we get a list of student names. And what this is like for each class, since this past year has been more or less online lately, the point of the project is to classify students depending on if they have been participating enough in class, if they're present or not, all that type of stuff. So for example, we've got this file right here, which is called studentlist.csv, and it's got like a list of student ID numbers and then their names, and like it's 4 names because Arabs have like their first name, then 2 middle names, and their last name. And then we've got 2 other types of files. One's going to end in -ar, one ends in -pr. AR is the attendance report, and it just shows the student's name plus how many minutes they watched the class. It's a 2-hour, 40-minute class, so it's out of like 160 minutes more or less. So this shows how long they were present. And then -pr is a text file, and it basically shows the timestamp that a student sent a message, who sent the message, who they sent it to, and then the message itself. And so this type of stuff is going to be used to like classify if they are participating and being present in class, or if they are just they're not really keeping up with what's going on. Basically is create a script with an option parser. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what an option parser is. It says use Python option parser to specify the following. So we need to get the path to the student list sheet attendance reports, path to the folder of meeting participation reports, and then a path to store all of the output. And then I'll also to only consider students who have attended more than P minutes, and then mark them as X for present and then A for absent. And we should also have an option to disregard messages sent too early or messages that are sent too late. So those are like kind of some of the requirements that we need to include 5-2021. And then it goes through all the students, and from like from the list of student names, starting right here, and then it'll either say that they're present or that they're absent. This line right here is kind of a glitch, I suppose, because I don't really need, that's like the very first line of the file, which I should be ignoring. And then one issue that I've come across is basically on Zoom. I don't know if you've ever used it, you probably have, but basically it asks you what name you want to enter into Zoom. And the issue with that is like people don't really put their full formal name, and sometimes they also add their ID numbers, so I can't check it very easily. For example, if I take a look at the student list, like the list of student names, which is this one right here, it's very formal. Like it has every student's first name and last name as well as all their middle names. But if I take a look at the -ar files, like this one right here, this is just how the student typed their name in themselves. I don't know what these extra parentheses are, so I can ignore them. I don't really know why that's there. But basically, some students add their ID numbers, some students don't. And then since all these names are originally in Arabic, like they have different spellings sometimes. Like for example, if I like this name right here, Asmat, it has an apostrophe, whereas like same with this name right here. But in the attendance report from Zoom, they don't put the apostrophe in their name, so I can't really just compare that if that's an issue in all of these files. So there's Asma, yeah, she has no apostrophe. Yeah, so they never put the apostrophes. Whenever I check, whenever I compare those names, I guess, so basically let's take a look at this function right here. It says get present students for date. So I'll ask the user for the date they want to search, And then here we have the dictionary of all the students that are present. Maybe I should make a class for the student.